Okay, so for question number 11 on this test, we are given two pie charts and asked if there's an association between your age group and using Facebook or Twitter. So I need to give statistical evidence to support my conclusion. The first thing I need to figure out, is there an association? So they are associated if the graphs are different, like noticeably different. Like if you can see differences in the graphs, that would mean that the two are associated. They are independent, which is not associated. If the graphs look the same. So what you want to look for to see if they're associated or not, if there's an association here, is are there any big differences in this graph? And the biggest difference I see is this 45 plus, age 45 plus. See how it's 46% here and only 33% on Twitter? So that tells me there's an association here. So this is how I would say this in my evidence to support this. I would say, yes, there is an association. And then I would say older people, 45 plus, are more likely to use Facebook, because on Facebook they're 46%. So they're more likely to use Facebook at 46%. Use the percentages as supporting evidence here than Twitter at 33%. So I used evidence here that 46% versus 33% is quite a big difference, and be sure to use like actual numbers to prove it, or talk about how they're noticeable, one's noticeably bigger than the other. Okay, so I said there's an association, and I proved it with data, and that is all I needed to do on this problem. And you can see that kind of lines up with what you would think, right? Facebook tends to be more older people using it. And if you look at Twitter, the 0 to 24 use Twitter more, 19 versus Facebook, 14. I could have talked about that instead, and that would have been right. You can talk about any of the differences, and they would be correct, but I picked the biggest difference because that's the one that made the most sense to me to talk about.